What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my beautiful co-host, John Locke.
What was John Locke's thing? Like 13 treatises or something? He's a historical guy.
He's an English philosopher and physician widely regarded as one of the most influential of Enlightenment thinkers and commonly known as the father of liberalism.
That's John Locke.
John Locke, I can't believe you took the time to come on our show today. Also with us is Josh Fuster. What's up, Josh?
Hey, how's that? Nochi, how do you pronounce it? Noki?
Noki.
Okay. Is it sitting well?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
It's not sitting well right now. But we're gonna get through this mock draft anyways. Guys, also joining us today is a very special guest. He is the co-host of the Dynasty Rewind podcast. Chevin Noon, thank you so much for coming on the show. I messed it up already. Chevin Nooney, thank you so much for coming on the podcast with us today, my man.
I look forward to it. I know we prepped it before you're going to say my name right, but hey, no worries. You ain't the first. Love the show, boys. Can't wait to get into it. This is my lunch break special here, so I appreciate having me on.
We're so happy to have you, man.
We're so happy to have you. I see a couple questions in here from Daniel, Drew, and Calvin, all saying they want to join in on the mock draft. Craig answered your question beautifully. The best way to get early notice of draft spots so that you can draft with us next time is to join our Discord. We will always post the link in there first. And it's first come, first serve to grab those spots to draft with us on Mondays. So if you want to get that early notice, make sure you are a part of our Discord. And on Monday, keep your eyes peeled for that link to drop, and then you can grab a spot and draft along with us. We've got Craig in the chat with a question of his own, though, after answering some others. He says, I do have a rare, serious question for you FYF members.
Okay.
When one of you references your own personal rankings, is there a centralized place where we can go to see each team member's rankings for different formats? So in short, no. There's not.
In short, no, but in long, maybe it's being worked on a little bit.
Yeah, we are working on getting something together where you guys can see our rankings. That's something that is a goal for this offseason. So Greg will keep you in the loop. And you know what? If anyone wants to see my personal rankings, just shoot me a message and I can send you some of them. I'm not done with running backs, I'll be honest with you, but my dynasty rankings were done with quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends.
My top 200 Superflex rankings are pretty much locked in. So I feel very confident with what I got there. One quarterback, I just got to get rid of the quarterbacks. Just got to place them into the one quarterbacks, but that's pretty much it.
I made some changes to my wide receiver dynasty rankings over the weekend. Mix some things up. You guys will be glad to know that DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin both moved down at least one spot. AJ Brown has moved ahead of them. So AJ Brown,
as he should have.
AJ Brown
as he should.
Ahead of both of them and ahead of Tyreek Hill.
Kind of surprised he wasn't there to begin with.
Rankings as well. So AJ Brown jumped all three of those guys to move up into like that top
Chevin,
6 area.
Rank them: AJ Brown,
Terry
McLaurin, and DJ Moore. Rank them.
I'm going AJ Brown, DJ Moore, and McLaurin. I have a hard time with McLaurin because everybody hypes him up, puts him in their top 10, and dude just hasn't done it yet. I got to see it. Maybe it's this season, maybe it's not, but that's my rankings right there.
I have him right there with DJ Moore. I think that's right where he belongs.
One good thing about Terry McLaurin is he probably has the best quarterback situation so far in his career. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is going to do.
Yeah, I just laughed.
Change the whole game.
That's the best quarterback situation he's had in his career. But
I'm not a huge Carson Wentz fan, but
it is an upgrade, or it should be an upgrade. And what he's done without even like competent quarterback play has been enough to give me that faith that with competent quarterback play, he'd be absolutely elite. We've got Dame in here. What's up, Dame? Welcome in. Maria, happy Monday. And Jay said, Chev.
My boy, Jay. What's up, man?
I guess the emphasis was on the V. I put too much on that E. Come here now, said bathroom, Simon. No, this is an office. This is office, Simon. I don't put bathroom, Simon on stream very often.
You don't want to see that kind of Simon.
And Mr. Scampers with John Luke Garofalo.
John Locke.
That's a lot.
You can't get anything right, Simon.
it's like you can't even mess it up right. Like
that's what you should have said.
Well, we're doing a mock draft today.
Maria said FYF lunch special equals priceless. Indeed. And Geek Mill, man, it literally says geek in your title, and you got the audacity to come in here and call us nerds.
Nerds?
I mean, we are nerds,
yeah,
but we're excited for the mock. Swamp, what's up? Swamp said work. Let me guess. You cry. And then come here now wants to know, where does Amari Rodgers rank? Man,
low.
Real far down that list.
Just
very, very low. John Edwards, welcome in. What's up? He said, hope all are blessed. Thank you, Sean. Same to you. Let's see. And Carlos said, I'm an analyst that specializes in Excel Google Sheets. I'd be more than happy to get a template and process together. But would you guys get updated Google Sheet? And it's very kind of you, Carlos. Maybe we'll have to chat sometime. I know we've got some internal things that we're working on, but we can absolutely chat. Let's see, guys. Brady, sad that he's going to miss out on the mock draft. He said the mock draft filled out too quick for me. And Scott said Josh's top 200 locked in, will not change. Guaranteed.
No. I will not touch them at all. No. Every single person, I guarantee, will be like linked to a different number by the time the season starts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
guaranteed.
They'll all move around. But I'm not. You're not going to see like Jamar Chase jump around too much. I bet.
Probably not.
Probably not. Guys, today we brought Chevin on to do a mock draft. Before we do that, though, a couple reminders. Number one, if you are not already following our guest Chevin over on Twitter, go and do that right now. He's on Twitter at ChevBoyRD. It is right there below his handsome face on the screen. So make sure you guys go follow him over there. After you do that, if you're watching the stream, that means you're likely already on our YouTube channel. If you're on that channel and you have not subscribed yet, come on. What else do we got to do? Does Josh have to take his shirt off? Does JL have to show his feet? Like,
I'll do it.
Just let us know. We'll do it, whatever it is. But if we've met your criteria already, kindly hit that subscribe button. It makes sure you like this video. It's the easiest way to show your support for what we are doing over here. And boys, today we have a Dynasty Superflex startup mock draft. And before someone asks, we're assuming PPR on this one. So PPR, that's fairly standard for these formats, I like to think sometimes. And for those of you that do not know, Superflex means you can start up to 2 quarterbacks. So there's going to be a second flex spot where you can start a wide receiver, running back, or tight end, but you can also plug a quarterback into that spot. It's going to make quarterbacks a lot more valuable in this format. So you'll see quarterbacks going way earlier than you would in a 1 quarterback league. The roster construction is going to be 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and a super flex. I am drafting from the 3 spot. Chevin is drafting there from the 7, and Josh from the 8. I love it when people on stream draft right next to each other. And I think we're ready.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
All right,
Updates. Amari Rodgers just barely, ever so slightly cracks my top 200. And like he has room to go down. Let's just put it that way.
He has room to go down. All right.
I love the comment in here from Sebro that said, hey, I'll tune in as a distraction for what I'm actually supposed to be doing.
That's what we're here for. That's literally
exactly
what we're all
honestly, that's kind of like our mission.
Why do you think we stream at 3 p.m. on weekdays? All right, we got this draft started. Jordan is on the clock, followed by Dan, followed by Simon. Simon, who are you hoping falls to you?
Well, for being honest, whenever I picked this draft spot, I completely blanked on the fact that this was Superflex, and I picked the 3 because
you're like, at least I get one of those top 3.
At least I get one of those top 3. But now there's been a whole wrench thrown into my plan.
At least you get one of the top 3.
At least you get one of the top 3.
That's for
you know what? We're gonna do it. I very, very
Patrick
rarely
Mahomes. I love
go QB early in Superflex, but drafting from this spot up here, Patrick Mahomes being available at the 3 spot, who, man, like he's still in contention. I feel like people are down on him. I don't know why, but he's still in contention for that number 1 overall quarterback spot in Dynasty. I currently have him there right ahead of Josh Allen. Maybe with the Tyreek Hill news, need to readjust a little bit, but I've got faith in that offense, faith in him, and he's got other weapons. It's not like Tyreek Hill was the only weapon. And I expect them to draft a wide receiver early in this year's draft as well to pair along with Juju.
Chevin, could you bring yourself to draft Justin Herbert over Patrick Mahomes, or is Patrick Mahomes still number 2 or number 1 for you?
I think you definitely have to think about it now. Herbert has the weapons that maybe Mahomes doesn't have like he used to have with Tyreek Hill. So Herbert now has Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. And I think I'm going Justin Herbert ahead of Patrick Mahomes now.
Really? Okay.
Just because in Dynasty, we got Kelsey, who maybe isn't going to play too many much years after this. And then what other weapons does he have around him? I know this is going to be a Kansas City team that will always be focused on Patrick Mahomes. We saw it. CEH came in, and he has not been the vocal point of the offense. It's Patrick Mahomes' team. So that's one other thing to think about. But I think I'm going Herbert.
I think that's totally fair. I think that's totally fair. Seems like he's been rising. Josh, would you consider taking Herbert over Mahomes?
Yeah, I'll consider it all day. I know I'm gonna pick Joe Burrow. But well, this pick was actually between Joe Burrow and one other person. I think there's a good chance he'll get picked here. But for me, it's a tier. Those three quarterbacks are absolutely a tier for me. And then it kind of breaks after it. And then you got the Lamar Jacksons, Kyler Murrays, and Joe Burrows of the world, which I still love. They're still great quarterbacks. It's just those three quarterbacks I feel super confident about for many, many years to come. Justin Herbert was just the second overall quarterback in fantasy last year, beating out Patrick Mahomes. I know Patrick Mahomes had an up and down season, but now he's not going to have Tyreek Hill. So yeah, if you want to draft Joe Burrow ahead of Patrick Mahomes, so be it. I wouldn't do it. I'd still take Patrick Mahomes there, but they're even.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. We got Brady in here saying, happy Monday, guys. Mock filled up too quick for me. Sorry about that, Brady.
It was quick. I mean, everybody hopped in real fast.
And I know it's been asked around our Discord, and we talked about it. We do these every Monday. So if you miss this one, make sure you come back. I don't need to tell that to Brady, but for anybody new watching, and we'll likely add some more throughout the week, in the off season. So keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely. We did have a question. You got it.
Yeah, Albert asked, do y'all like doing third round reversal? This is a good question. I feel like we don't talk about it very often. Josh, how you feel about third round reversal?
I personally like it. I feel like whenever we analyze the draft after we do a third round reversal, we're kind of like, all the teams seem pretty even. I don't know. I think Superflex plays a part into this, because when it's a Superflex league, there's a deeper pool of players anyway. But in one quarterback, I think third round reversal is very helpful to balancing out the league. And I think it's a fun little switch up for me. So I like third round reversal. But in third round reversal and Superflex, I prefer to have that later pick, actually. In both Superflex and one quarterback, you're losing out on that top value by having that later pick. But I like the later pick in third round reversal.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Josh. I haven't done many third round reversal drafts, but every single one that I've done, I've felt that way about whenever it ended. This makes sense. Why don't we do this for all of them? So I'm with you. I think it makes sense. And it looks like Joel in the chat agrees as well. Says, I think third round reversal is the best way to make it fair.
No!
No, one pick before you. You got sniped, Josh.
I would have been so happy.
Is that who you were debating between? Whenever you initially...
No, it was Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he wasn't making it back to you.
So, last week I built a team that was very, very built for the future. I went wide receiver heavy across the board. My first three picks were wide receivers. I think I only took one running back the entire draft, which I don't even know. But I think I'm gonna try something different this time. I think I'm gonna try to win now. I'm gonna go for a team that is gonna win next year. I'm gonna take Cooper Kupp here.
Ooh, I like that Cooper Kupp pick. I like that pick.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's a bit of a. I'm guessing by your pre-pick commentary that that's a bit of a reach in terms of your own rankings for Cooper Kupp. Correct? Is that correct, Josh?
It's a bit of a reach. There's other players that I do have ranked a little bit higher, but I think he should be a second round pick. Just what he produced last year. He's still with Matthew Stafford. I still expect relatively close numbers. Maybe not exactly the same. It's going to be hard to repeat what he just did, but I don't know. That connection's real. And I think Cooper Kupp's the wide receiver 1 next year.
Yeah. How do you feel about Cooper Kupp going into next season in the dynasty context where, you have to consider a little bit more of his age, Shevin?
You got a steal in Deshaun Watson, by the way.
Yes, I did. I'm definitely happy to snag him. But for Cooper Kupp, I feel like he is the safest pick, honestly, right now in Dynasty. I feel like if you can get him at wide receiver 1, I'd be happy with it, just because what you're actually going to get. That connection already, what it's going to be like for the next, whatever. It may be 3 years, but if you win 3 championships, it's worth it. If he goes wide receiver 1 3 years in a row, which is, in my opinion, really possible, you can't be mad at it. So Cooper Kupp is a guy that, yes, I want the younger pups like Jefferson and Chase. But after that, probably Brown as well. But you can argue Cooper Kupp to be the 3rd, 4th guy for me, honestly, right now. I love him.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are on that same side of that take. I think a lot of people are not too concerned about his age. And if it helps you win a championship, then it's worth it.
100%.
Man, I'm
Simon,
struggling right here because
sweating.
I am just salivating at all of these elite wide receivers sitting on the board right now. Like I'm sitting there going like, oh man. But there's one quarterback in my top 10 still left on the board, and I don't go double QB in these drafts very often, so I kind of want to test. You know what? Actually, there's two, but I'm going to do it. We're going to try this. I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence. Start Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, and get this draft kicked off. I don't go double quarterback very often, and so now I'm curious to see how this draft pans out after this.
Yeah, I think if this is third round reversal, I think I'd be a little bit more skeptical to do that. But since it's not, your next pick's coming right back up, Simon. There's 4 picks in between.
Yeah,
I think that's a good strategy. I think you're still going to likely get one of those wide receivers.
Oh yeah, there's more than 4 of those wide receivers. There's one in particular that I would really like. Another name that I didn't mention earlier that I actually moved up quite a bit. I didn't just move up AJ Brown. I moved this wide receiver from my wide receiver 8 up to my wide receiver 4 in Dynasty. And I am hoping that they make it back to me.
I have a feeling I know who it is.
You think so?
Maybe not.
Well, I'll let you know.
I had a gut feeling, an initial gut feeling.
Short time.
Josh, we had a question for you from Jordan asking, would you pick Joe Burrow over Kyler?
I actually have Joe Burrow ranked 1 spot ahead of Kyler. Having said that, Kyler's very upside and just he's a stud, you know? Was it Waddle or Diggs, Simon?
It was Diggs.
Diggs? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't have him quite that high. But Joe Burrow, I would take ahead of Kyler if I was giving advice, but Kyler Murray has so much more upside. Just the concerns, the off the field, not really off the field concerns, but like just the concerns he has with the team and the contract situation and just
seems odd,
hashing that out. That's the sole reason I put Joe Burrow ahead of Kyler at this point. But we're nitpicking.
Shevin, you're nodding. Are you agreeing? Are you a little bit concerned with Kyler and the his team relations here?
Yeah, I mean, I live in Arizona and I'm a season ticket member, and I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Kyler is taking this very seriously, and this could end a little rough. I got a bad feeling about it, but I hope he stays. But I honestly think Joe Burrow, with the pieces around him, I think that is enough for me to move him ahead. I know Kyler has the rushing floor, but sometimes passing, Kyler has not been heavily passing team or yards wise. It seems like he ends up a little shorter than a lot of other players at QB. And so I think Joe Burrow, with the people he has around him and what they have done to the offensive line, is huge. Yeah. So I think that's definitely a huge key for him this upcoming season.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I like that joke you threw in there when you said he comes up a little short.
Yeah, you like that? I'm an OU fan too, so I can throw that out there.
Yeah, you're allowed.
Oh boy,
so good.
Bro, been asking, thanks for the stream, fellas. Thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely. No doubt.
And Josh has a question for us. Mark Andrews or Kyle Pitts in Dynasty tight end premium leagues?
Kyle Pitts
Josh,
for me.
Kyle Pitts from Simon. What do you think, Josh?
Kyle Pitts. It's the age and what we project him. I mean, he just had an over 1,000-yard season his rookie year, which is crazy. More touchdowns. He's going to be a fantasy stud for many, many years to come.
Dear God, please be more touchdowns. Because if it's less, we've got a real problem. You can only barely go down. Josh, I had that feeling. I was so set on taking Diggs there that I panicked. And Devontae Adams is a top 5 wide receiver for me still, but I don't know. With Trevor Lawrence, like Trevor Lawrence, that pick is what's making me question the Devontae Adams pick, because I'm not sure next year is the year that we're going to fully reach like Trevor Lawrence as a powerhouse top tier quarterback. So I think this team isn't maybe competing right away, and Devontae Adams is a compete right away kind of pick. And with that risk of being on a new team. So I don't know. I'm not feeling like that pick fit with my previous pick. That Trevor Lawrence pick threw me off.
Yeah, that's fair. That happens. That happens. That's why we mock, right?
This is typically not how I build a dynasty team, but I said I'm going for a win now, and I'm going to see how it goes. That's what mock drafts are for, right? I love it.
I like this comment from Carlos. Said Kyler's also the name of my best friend who lives in a different state. Last season, my wife went half the season thinking I was talking shit on my best friend when I was just hating on Kyler Murray.
That's perfect. It happens.
Damn, Carlos, what happened with you and Kyler? You guys not talking anymore?
That's awesome.
He's not that short. That's hilarious. And we got a question from Scott in here. Who are your top 5 wide receivers in Dynasty? Shevin, why don't we start with you? Who are your top 5?
I got Jefferson, Chase, Brown, Lamb, and this one's a tough one. I'm probably putting Cup in there. I can switch Lamb and Cup as well. So yeah, those are probably my guys.
What do you think, Simon?
I have Jefferson, Chase, large gap. I denoted that in my rankings today. CD Lamb, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. Those are my top 5.
So Stephon Diggs made it in there. Okay.
Yep. Number 4. I just love the connection with Josh Allen, and he's secured with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for the foreseeable future. Like, that contract locked it up and made me feel very secure in what we're seeing. And I know people were disappointed this year. You didn't have the big flash games, but he was still a top tier producer, and you're going to get more of those flash games from Diggs.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. What about you, Josh? Top 5?
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb, AJ Brown, which it seems like we all have the same exact top 4 in different order, slightly different orders. And then, right now my 5th is Deebo Samuel. But I also think that Deebo Samuel is one of the biggest sells if you can sell him for his price he's being drafted at. Because of age and production and just the situation he finds himself in. I mean, if he can stay healthy, I'm in love with Deebo Samuel. I want him all day, but I don't think he's going to be able to stay healthy with what they're asking him to do. So I do have him ranked here. I probably couldn't draft him here. I just think that's just where he belongs, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, all right around him in a very similar tier for me.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I actually have the same order as you do, Josh, except for number 5. I have Tyreek Hill.
Look, we all have different number 5.
And I just wanted to clarify, Jamar Chase is first to me, Jefferson is second. I accidentally said Jefferson first, but I've got Chase 1, Jefferson 2.
Whatever. Right.
Whatever. Yeah. Like it's like just like at that point, those guys are a tier. They're the top 2. And Josh, Debo's a guy I've struggled to rank. He's probably the player that I move in my rankings the most. Like I'll go in there and I'm like, no, that doesn't look right. That's too high. I would prefer to draft these guys over him. And then I'll move him down. And like right now I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's too low. Like I've got him at 14 right now. And that just doesn't seem like the guys ahead of him, like Jalen Waddle or Deebo Samuel in Dynasty. Who would you rather have?
The fact that I have him ranked at 5 and I'm telling you he's one of my biggest sells is like so telling. I should have him lower, probably. It's just like I feel like he belongs there, but if he struggles with injuries, then he shouldn't be there. That's the thing. It just like if I just take away the injury factor, he belongs there 100% in my mind.
They use him all over the field too, so I mean that's great, but it's also kind of a bad thing. Just because he's going to be getting a lot of hits. He's going to be taking it. But, I mean, he's a special player. He, like I said, he can do it all over the field, which is great for the 49ers. Maybe not the greatest for fantasy if he's going to be taking these big hits, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and, he's got his own issues with the team that, they haven't extended him yet. So I think we got to keep an eye on that. It definitely adds into his risk factor. Josh taking DJ Moore here in the 4th round. We're just talking about him. It seems like that would be a great value. Like you consider this a great value, given that you have him right there outside the top 5.
He will, just in terms of wide receivers, he's my wide receiver 8. So I
assuming over Deontay Johnson, over
Deontay Johnson,
T. Higgins,
over T. Higgins, right over T. Higgins. Yep, T. Higgins is right there with him.
And then Devontae Adams, is he above or below DJ Moore for you?
Below. I have Devontae Adams buried.
Buried.
Well, I have him right next to Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. They're all like 28, 29-year-old receivers. I actually feel the most confident about Stephon Diggs out of that group, Simon. So to your point of praising Diggs, it's like, why do we put Diggs lower than both those guys when Diggs is in a position that we know he's going to be successful in with Josh Allen? He's the number 1 with him, right? And the other 2 guys are changing teams, and I would say going to lesser places, in my opinion. So I don't know. It's kind of the way I think about it.
It's fair. Simon on the clock. Chevy took Derrick Henry here in the 4th, right after Josh took DJ Moore. How are you feeling about? I feel like Derrick Henry is such an interesting, probably one of the more interesting players when it comes to dynasty value. How are you viewing when you're comfortable pulling the trigger on Derrick Henry in a dynasty startup draft?
Yeah, I think honestly you can probably wait a little bit later, but I really just wanted to pair Taylor and Henry together. I feel like that is just a such tough combo for teams to go against every single week. I mean, I can get 40 points per player sometimes, and if I can get that, there's a big chance I'm going to win that week. So I'm going to ride it out, try to get the championship, probably the first few seasons. And even if Derrick Henry has a couple big games, you can always sell him too. It's not like he's dead. Somebody will pay for him if they're a contender in the league. So I love being able to pair him with Taylor. I think it's just a good duo to have, especially I think wide receivers I can get way later in this draft and feel comfortable with. And running back, I think dwindles a little bit quicker for me.
Yeah, for sure.
There's an argument to be made that those in a one quarterback redraft league next season, those guys could be the top 2 picks.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. There's an argument to be made.
Definitely a win now type move. You were going to predict how much longer do you think Derrick Henry is going to maintain this level of production before we start to see a sort of a fall off?
Yeah, I would give him 2 to 3 more years. I think you can definitely guarantee that. I feel like he's just built big enough to withstand all these hits that he's been taking. I mean, he's been doing it for the last 8 to 10 years, probably even going back to college. So I feel comfortable having him for 2 to 3 more seasons and getting that high quality, that play out of him.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Simon taking Drake London here in the 4th round.
Yeah, I zagged a little bit. First rookie wide receiver, I think, and this is
Brees Hall went.
That's badass, Simon. Just for you to call your shot there.
My weekend, I spent time diving into some of these wide receivers, and I absolutely fell in love with Drake London. And I figured out why. It's because watching him play looks like watching Mike Evans play. This is a huge, big-bodied guy who goes up and grabs the contested catch. Like, this is a guy that even if he doesn't quite get up to the NFL level on some of these other skill sets, that's an immediate way he can contribute as a big-body touchdown catching receiver. I just think the skill set translates well. He's the one that I'm most not that Burks and Wilson, like maybe their ceiling's higher, but this is the guy that I am most confident in will produce like fantasy relevant numbers on the NFL level. I love the type of receiver that he is. And now I'm back on the clock and only have 15 seconds.
Would you like me to restart?
Nope, because I know who I'm taking.
Okay.
Simon, to the Drake London point, I like that. I'm surprised you took him over Terry McLaurin.
So the reason for that is I thought there was a better chance of Terry making it back to me. I thought someone else might do rookie fever and draft Treylon Burks and Drake London, or Garrett Wilson and Drake London prior to it coming back to me.
Yeah. For me, Drake London, I'm kind of a little bit on a different spot where I think he does need to like kind of wind up with a good quarterback year one. I don't think he could develop regardless. I think he needs to have a quarterback that can put the ball where he needs it. I mean, anyone could throw it up, right? But like a quarterback that's willing to put air under the ball, toss it up to him, and he can come down to it. He's going to be very successful. So for me, like his range of like how high I have him ranked is probably going to vary depending on the quarterback he's matched up more than most other wide receivers. Because I think like Garrett Wilson, Treylon Burks, they can succeed just by getting the ball in their hands. You know, they're going to get open, just get the ball in their hands, and they're going to make something happen. So that's where I differ a little bit. But I don't hate this at all. I don't hate that pick whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that can turn out and really look really smart, or it could also not turn out and not look so smart. But it's
and
be dependent on the outcome. You know?
I am usually rookie averse in these early rounds of this draft, but I'm trying something different. So we went Drake London.
I want rookies, but I decided to go old, and I don't want to do it anymore. I just want to change. I just want to go like. I like building younger teams. I'm realizing now.
Albert in here asking, what if the Jets draft Drake London? I actually don't hate that as a landing spot.
He fits in.
He fits into that offense.
Elijah Moore is a slot receiver more, so he would fit into the offense well.
He could slot in on that, or he could fit in on the outside right there, and Zach can throw the ball up. So I know Jets seems like a bad landing spot, but I actually think Jets is a pretty damn good landing spot for Drake London.
Yeah.
Shoot.
And Tim in here saying Drake London just doesn't quit on any play, and it's so fun. Yeah, he's also got that like drive that you see out on the field. It is fun to watch. Josh, are you unhappy with the rookie you took?
I don't know if he meant to.
No, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's fine. This is good. I like this.
As he rubs his face in his palms.
I did see a comment in here from Mr. Smith saying Watson going in the first and most startup mocks out there, Brees and Russell the second. What's going on with your values in these mocks, fellas? Well, no need to hit us with the fellas, Mr. Smith. But this is a mock, and we're drafting with 12 people that weren't in all the other mocks. But mocks are going to vary differently, not just mocks, but real drafts. And I don't think a round difference is anything too crazy for some of those players. Also, it's the offseason and values are going to be shifting wildly. And whether we like to admit it or not, the ADP listed by the site that you're drafting on affects your mental process when it comes to picking a player.
So I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I didn't notice Deshaun Watson was still there when I drafted Cooper Kupp. That's right. So right when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's a steal on Watson." I mean, we have a minute here. We're streaming, like.
It's why these mock drafts are valuable, because once you get in your real draft, you're gonna say, I kept seeing Deshaun Watson going in the second round or the third round, and still here, no one's taking him yet. Boom, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
Take
advantage of the site ADP.
So it was a steal. Like good pick.
Yeah. So Mr. Smith, we agree with you there. That was a phenomenal pick. Like getting the value on him there.
Yeah, the site ADP definitely matters. I mean, there's probably a lot more players that we're going to go back and like, holy crap, how did he make it this far? Yeah. I mean, I've seen it so many times on the mocks we've done on the show and whatnot, and sometimes they just slip through the crack. And Watson, I mean, we don't even know what the NFL is going to do with him. They could give him a pretty decent suspension too. So it could be a risky pick, but it's one that I think in Dynasty you're willing to take at this point.
Yep.
There's a chance he doesn't play next year.
Yeah,
there's a chance. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't predict that. But, if that's the case, then I don't think too many people. If he was suspended for a whole year next year, no one's drafted in the first round.
No.
It's as simple as that.
No. Jordan saying, I wanted Josh Jacobs there, Swamp.
I probably I can't build it. I'm changing my strategy. I'm gonna build it. Probably this is what happens in normal drafts. Sometimes I drafted Cooper Kupp there. I might go focus now on younger people just because of the way my team's building. Yeah. And I could trade Cooper Kupp to a competing team. Trading makes fantasy fun, guys.
Well, and Cooper Kupp's window, I don't think is a 1 year window. Know what I mean? I think it's probably like a 3 year window for Cooper Kupp, which is plenty of time for these young players to develop. So I don't think just Cooper Kupp boxes you into going has to be a win now team. Now, if you had Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, and Mike Evans as your top 3 receivers, then maybe you need to go win now, but it's not what you did there.
Yeah, completely agree. We got a question from Sebro in here in a Superflex League. How do you value Carson Wentz in terms of picks? So what is if you have Carson Wentz, what do you accept? Or would you accept a first round?
Give me a first round pick.
Any
you can
first.
have. Any first you can have Carson Wentz.
Josh, any first you're giving away Carson Wentz?
Huh? In a Superflex League?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go to second then. Would you guys accept any second?
Probably not. I mean, if I'm
top
rebuilding,
half second, maybe. A top third second, maybe like 2-1 through 2-4. I would take maybe a second plus. Send me your second plus Mitchell Trubisky, or just a quarterback that can maybe fill that gap until I draft somebody else. I don't know. I like maybe a second plus one of these back end quarterbacks.
Yeah. I think I would.
He's worth a second. His value is probably.
I think
more
his second is probably fair. Yeah. Late second, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to give up a late second.
No. Just a late second for a starting quarterback is just not it in Superflex for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a good wide receiver around him too. Terry McLaurin has been waiting for a decent quarterback, and I wouldn't say it's the best thing for McLaurin right now. It's the best quarterback he could have gotten, but at least Wentz has that wide receiver that can make plays for him, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, I considered Tua Tagovailoa and Derek Carr. I considered quarterback there, but then I was like, I really want to take one of these rookies a little bit later because I've been doing research on the rookies. So I'm
fresh
just
in your mind.
I'm fresh on my mind. I want to talk about them. Really, landing spot and draft capital is going to matter with every single one of these guys.
Yeah. Especially really wide receiver wise for rookies this year. Depends where they go, honestly. 1 through 5, there's not a real clear-cut wide receiver 1, it seems like, in the fantasy community, in my opinion.
But they're all really
everybody's
good.
all over the place. Yeah, they're really great.
A lot of good talent.
There's close to 10 wide receivers in this draft class that I am very excited about. There's 7 that I'm really excited about. And then it extends past that a little bit. This is a pretty good wide receiver class.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. We got a question here from Mr. Scampers. Who are your top 3 NFL Luke's locks or locks, past or present?
Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That was a good one, Josh. You know, he's got to be a top 3.
Drew Lock.
I'm running out.
I can't think of anybody.
There's not many other Lukes. Someone asked on our newsletter.
Luke Wilson was a tight end, right?
Luke Wilson's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the 3.
Luke
Simon, you're on
Stalker.
Luke.
I just typed in Luke into the sleeper thing to see what would come up.
Mr. Scamper said, watch Derrick Henry's highlights, high school highlights the other day. Poor kids.
Yo, watch. Seriously, I've known about Josh Jacobs since high school because I watched his high school tape when he came out of college or coming into college, and I fell in love with him immediately. There's literally like a 12-minute highlight reel, and it's hard. There's like 2 non-touchdowns in there. Well, he played some defense, he played some safety, but like when he's on offense, he scores a touchdown pretty much every play.
Yeah.
It's so cool to watch. Check out Josh Jacobs' high school highlights.
Do you remember what high school he went to? I feel like it was somewhere in Oklahoma.
I can't remember what it was.
Remember exactly.
I haven't even seen the video in a couple of years, but yeah. I remember revisiting it when he came into the draft.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that, Josh.
Yeah.
Peter's got a question for us. What up, Peter? He says, how do y'all feel about the potential of Burks to Dallas? What do you guys feel about that? Josh?
Really, his skill set's not that much different than Amari Cooper. He's not Amari Cooper by any means. Amari Cooper's an amazing route runner. But I'm just talking about like get the ball in this guy's hands, and like both of them can make something happen. And I like Treylon Burks' upside in that regard even more. So like he'd be a good complement to CeeDee Lamb, I guess. But I'd prefer him to go to a place where he can be closer to the wide receiver 1.
I think that's fair. How do you feel about it, Shevin?
Yeah, I think there's a huge potential he goes to Dallas. I feel like Jerry Jones loves Arkansas players for what it's worth. And I think, like Josh said, he's not the route running savant as Amari Cooper is. Like, we don't see that. But I can see them trying to power an offense through the NFC and just try to take it offensively. I mean, their defense definitely picked it up last season, but I like Burks. I think there's a lot of potential. I think there's some things he definitely needs to work on, but you see the athletic ability there. And if you're going to take a shot, I mean, he's probably one of the guys that might have the highest ceiling in this class if he can figure out the route running scheme of things. And he goes up and grabs everything.
I'm 100% sure he has the highest ceiling. Now his floor is a little bit lower than others too.
Yep.
For me, it's the highest ceiling. I said 100% sure, but that's just in my mind.
Yeah.
It's my opinion.
Simon, you went heavy wide receiver after your double QB start and you followed up the McLaurin pick, Devonta Smith, Darnell Mooney. What's your strategy? How are you thinking about your team construction here?
Yeah. So how I'm thinking about my team construction here is I feel like with the start that I had, 2 young superstar quarterbacks, one superstar in training is what I'll call Trevor Lawrence. He's not quite there yet. Wide receiver is a slightly stickier position in Dynasty. It's one where the value tends to last for longer. And most of the players I picked after Devontae Adams are younger wide receivers. Terry McLaurin's maybe middling, but Drake London, Devonta Smith, and Darnell Mooney are all young wide receivers that I'm very high on. Darnell Mooney showed up last year. I'm excited with Justin Fields developing what we're going to get from him. Maybe a true 1 out of Darnell Mooney. And then Devonta Smith has that same kind of upside, obviously the early draft capital. The only question marks there are around if Jalen Hurts can support a like true wide receiver 1 for fantasy. But I figured draft young, talented wide receivers, and then I can figure out running back. As this team develops, I can figure it out either through rookie drafts, trades, or even in Dynasty. You can find shit on the waiver wire. It happens not every year, but like Philip Lindsay won me a Dynasty league the year he broke out, and he was on the waiver wire. Now that's not
James Robinson was probably on
the waiver wire. Yeah,
I can't really recall, but I feel like he probably was.
Yeah. So I'm a lot more comfortable figuring out running back, and I think the way I started this draft with Trevor Lawrence and then Drake London in the 4th, it made sense to go heavy wide receiver, and then maybe take some dart throws on younger or aging running backs that people don't want in these later rounds and go from there.
Yeah, I like that. Are you, when you're picking these wide receivers, is it strictly a value thing? Like you're seeing the value?
And that's with Dynasty, that's the other thing is I had drafted 4 wide receivers in a row and I expected Mooney to be gone, but he wasn't. And I love Mooney in Dynasty. I'm not going to not draft him in a league that is technically forever because I already have 4 wide receivers.
And that Devonta Smith pick, I think, was pretty good. Personally.
Yeah, I had to take Devonta Smith there. I was debating between him and Darnell Mooney. I was like, no, we got to go Smith. And then Mooney fell to me. I'm going to take him too.
I have like Smith in a tier with Elijah Moore. So, I mean, they weren't completely separated, but
would you have taken Cooper if he was still there, Simon, instead of Smith?
With this team construction and Amari Cooper switching teams, he's moved down a little bit on my rankings. But it was close. He's in that same tier with those guys. Maybe had Cooper made it back again, I maybe would have taken him over Mooney just because of my love for Cooper. But I think Mooney and Smith both make more sense with the way I'm drafting this team than Cooper does.
It's fair. Totally fair. Mr. Scamper's asked a comp for London to Colston, more of a big slot rather than outside as he was used in college. Thoughts on that?
Well, he does have experience in the slot in college from what I was seeing. Like they didn't not use him in the slot. Drake London's the kind of receiver that can play on the outside or in the slot. But yeah, I definitely could see him playing in the slot in the NFL as well. Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. I agree. So I know with Drake London, and I guess I don't think he's going to make it to my next pick. So I'll take Matt Corral here, even though I have Zach Wilson ranked higher than Matt Corral, but I just
Joel called.
There you go, people. Earlier. Yeah, I know. I saw him write that, and that's who I was thinking. There's probably a good chance he would make it to my next pick, and Zach Wilson.
That hairline, though.
Matt Corral, but that hairline, yeah. What we're talking about? Oh, Marcus Colston and Drake London. Yeah. So the big thing with Drake London that's scaring a lot of people and scaring me a little bit as well is his he does not get very good separation. And I just saw some comparisons to him and other people that have came out with his lack of separation. And it's scary. It's a little scary. So that's why I kind of mentioned, like, I feel like I really want him to land with an Aaron Rodgers, maybe Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I don't know if he's going to last that long because I do think he's going to be a middle first-round pick in the NFL draft. The upside is through the roof if everything goes well. It's Mike Evans' upside. But yeah, I'm a little concerned with the separation ability.
Totally fair. Totally fair. All right, we're getting into our 8th round here. And I think I put this up before. Tim said, Simon, I bet you won't go 3 more rounds without an RB.
We'll see. See what the value says.
And Scott asking, what QBs are you not comfortable with in Superflex? In Superflex formats?
Like Dynasty Superflex, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm assuming Dynasty, if not, I guess just regular. Like if you're in your Superflex draft, you usually like to draft 2 to 3 quarterbacks. Which ones are you probably avoiding at their ADP? Josh, you have any that come to mind?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like at their ADP. That's like kind of like the thing. It's like I don't want quarterbacks where I'm not sure. Like Carson Wentz, for instance. Like that's the reason we're taking a first-round pick for Carson Wentz all day. We don't know if he's going to be the starting quarterback for the
if he's going to do well
Commanders next year, or if he's going to do well necessarily. Daniel Jones, all these quarterbacks where it's like their last year, like make it break it years. Like you got to be really nervous about having them, but they're usually later draft picks at the same time. So I like taking shots on those guys in the later rounds. But if there's any guy that you're like a little concerned about his availability for the next season, I'd be worried about drafting him.
What about you, Shevin? Anybody come to mind? Super quarterbacks you're avoiding in Superflex formats at their ADP?
Just looking at what the ADP is on this draft, Malik Willis really scares me before like a Russell Wilson. I feel like I can trust Russell Wilson a lot more than what Malik Willis is at right now. I know we don't know the landing spot, but I feel like there's some things that Malik Willis will need to work on before turning into that high potential that we all think of him with the rushing ability and the passing. But yeah, I'm probably out on Malik Willis at where he's going right here. Trey Lance is another person that I think people will draft way before I do. I see the potential.
At the 401 right there. That's actually later
That's
than
great.
I typically see, you know. So,
yeah, usually we see him second round. Usually when I see him.
Yeah.
So if I can get him at 4-1, I'm feeling pretty happy. But
yeah,
in other drafts, second round, I'm probably just holding off and waiting for another quarterback to come around. Like we got Derek Carr, Tua, who just got a plethora of new wide receivers to go with. he's probably going to get some more offensive line help, I'm guessing, or they're building around him, which is great to see. And I think I would rather grab the Derek Carr or Tua later than spending up in the second round to get Lance at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I think Derek Carr is part of this tier for me with Mac Jones, Kirk Cousins that I'm generally avoiding, unless there is a situation where I would grab the way I view it, a low ceiling, higher floor type of quarterback like these guys, and that's if I'm taking a shot at my top end QB1. I need to take a shot, or I need that stability somewhere, that nice floor to balance out the lack of that somewhere else on my roster.
Yep.
We just had 2 quarterback steals right there, guys.
Yeah. Tom Brady, Zach Wilson. Tom Brady, super interesting, I feel like, because obviously
I feel like it pairs with Trevor Lawrence perfectly for this team, right?
Yes.
Like,
He's your third quarterback.
It is perfect to pair Tom Brady with Trevor Lawrence. And here in the 9th round, like, that's fine. Who did I take Tom Brady over? I won't start saying names. People will get pissy with me. But yeah, Zach Wilson, that's one good name, and Dallas Goedert as well. Is someone else?
I was getting ready to take Dallas Goedert. So
Dallas Goedert.
Thanks, Swamp. Thanks.
And Jay in here, I just want to highlight this Swamp with the theft of Miles Sanders at 8.
Swamp is just taking out people left and right.
Swamp. I was waiting for Miles Sanders to make it back to me to be my first running back off the board there, and whew, that value.
It's a good pick. Good pick. Chev taking Mike Williams. I love that pick. Love that pick in the 9th round. It feels like very much a value,
especially pairing him up with the number 2 pick in this draft. Like, Herbert is obviously somebody that people like and love a lot. I mean, I love everything Mike Williams does. Sometimes he's not as consistent as you'd like him to be, but then there's weeks where you get 30 points, and I mean, he could win you a week just alone with that performance.
Yeah.
So,
in the 9th round, that's like
9th round. Whew.
That's perfect. That's exactly the type of wide receiver I'd be looking for in the 9th round.
God, I love him. I love Mike Williams. Did we hit this question from Case? And I thought this was fun. We don't have to do 5, but he said, who are you guys' top 5 players of 2021-22? Not fantasy. So just NFL players maybe that you enjoyed watching this year. I think one for me, it was
2021-22 is this past one that already
season.
happened.
Yeah, the one that just happened. I think it was the year of Hunter Renfrow, was it not? Like, this dude, like, I have always liked him being a Clemson guy. Like, he was a player that I really enjoyed in college. He was the hero of the national title game. And then I liked him in the NFL as like maybe he'll find some success. And then the dude was a wide receiver 1 this year, a top 12 wide receiver. Like,
great value.
He's got to be up there as like one of my top players from 2021-22. If it's not just like who were the best players in the NFL, just like, it was a Hunter Renfrow year.
Debo Samuel for that answer.
That's a good one.
Something that we like never have
seen
before. You know, running and receiving, it's amazing.
Just to return, it was like such a pure jump in value too. Where like just weren't sure, and then he just boomed, which is really good feeling if you had him on your team.
Oh yeah, I'm going with James Conner. Just watching him for the Cardinals,
that's a good one.
Revived his career, it seems like, and he was a huge staple for that offense, man. If it wasn't for him, I think they would have been in a big trouble once they lost DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he played a big role in catching passes out of the backfield as well, and he just seemed to be the energy guy for that team. So I'm going with James Conner on that question.
One more that's very related to James Conner, Leonard Fournette.
That's a great one.
Yeah. Revitalized his career. They really needed him, and he proved a lot of people wrong.
Yeah. Cordero Patterson for at least the beginning.
Cordero Patterson's a great one. That might be the best one, actually.
Wait, guys, Cooper Kupp, come on. He has 1,900 receiving yards. How are we not going to say that? Like, that's
he's got to be mentioned here. Like,
there's a bunch of wide receivers in that just hit this year, and I feel like my dynasty teams did really well because I've just been waiting with a lot of these guys, the Marquise Browns, the Mike Williams. It's just really fantastic to see him. T. Higgins, to see him, take a step ahead this season.
We talk about Renfrow and Renfrow gets drafted.
That's how it works. Jay Well said Tannehill's still on the board. Not anymore.
No, he's not.
Not anymore.
Yikes.
And I saw Jordan in here saying, do you guys like Juju's landing spot, especially now with Hill leaving? I'm going to hold off on optimism until after the draft because I expect them to draft another guy there. And Travis Kelce's still going to be the one. Shevin, I saw you nodding along. What do you think there?
Yeah, and I'm not convinced that they're not going to bring in another talented wide receiver from somebody else's team, like a DK Metcalf or a Tyler Lockett. I think would fit really great into that offense.
Brandon Cooks, maybe.
Brandon Cooks. I know he just signed there, but man, Brandon Cooks would be a great
signed
fit.
somewhere?
He re-signed with them, but that doesn't mean
it doesn't mean anything.
Maybe it makes him more attractive to the team he's getting traded to.
Yeah, at least they know they're going to hold him for 2 years at least. So
yeah,
I like the spot, but I think if anything, he'll probably be the wide receiver 3. I would imagine maybe 2 if they bring in a rookie at this time. He's still growing in the game. So, but I like the spot. I mean, how can you go wrong going to getting a quarterback that's Patrick Mahomes? I mean, you get to play with that guy. Shoot.
Yeah,
guys, I don't know.
One of the best in the NFL. Can't really go wrong.
I thought he was going to go there last year, but he decided to stay.
Yeah, I completely agree with Simon and Shevin on this one.
All right.
I'm excited. I think it's a good spot. I'm still holding off a little bit until we see how this shakes out. I think you have to these situations.
Guys, look out for Christian Watson. He's going to be a high draft pick in the NFL draft, and I think he's going to be a late first-round pick. That means he's going to be paired with a really good team. I love just everything. He's really tall, really fast. All right, that's all you got to know.
2 really good things that you need.
Yeah.
Hey, well, they're not everything, okay? There can be good people who aren't really tall and really fast.
Yeah, so. Like really wide.
This guy's got it all.
What are you saying?
This guy's so wide.
He's got the girth. He's got everything you're looking for.
We don't talk to him. Never mind. Joel said Tua is concerning to me. He goes higher than QBs you mentioned, but he has to take a massive step forward, or he might just bounce out of Miami. There is a lot of risk with Tua. I for one am not as concerned. I do believe that Tua is a very talented player, and I personally think that he's just had a lot of unfortunate snags in his career. I mean, he came into an offense that just was not supportive at all, into a system that was not supportive at all.
And coming off like what could have been a career-ending injury with no offseason that first year as well.
Right. And then he did well this past season until he started getting really banged up. He got broken ribs. He's playing through broken ribs. Like there's a lot of things that were keeping him limited this past season, and he turned it into a decent enough season. It doesn't mean that the risk isn't there. And if he doesn't do well this season, you're absolutely right. He's going to be in a tricky situation. It's going to be hard to keep justifying it.
I'm with you though, JL. Tua is currently my number 10 dynasty quarterback, and it's what we saw this last year that gave me the confidence to kind of push him up that high. I saw enough, even with the adversity that he faced, to say, okay, that talent, tank for Tua talent is still there. And they're giving him all the weapons now. He's got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Like this team is looks a lot better on paper than it has in previous years. So I'm buying into Tua going forward. He's sneaking into my top 10 dynasty quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And by the way, Rashad Bateman was the other guy I was considering between Christian Watson.
That's it. Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah. That feels like a great value.
Rookie fever.
Yeah. I think I would take Bateman over a lot of the guys already drafted. So.
Yeah. Oh, I have Bateman ranked above Christian Watson.
I hope.
But again, Christian Watson, he winds up with the Packers. He winds up with the Chiefs. We're all going to be very excited.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Carlos saying, little tidbit, AJ Dillon streams on Twitch and is very active with his chat. You can literally have a convo with the dude. Really grounded, awesome guy. That is dope. One thing I really liked this past off season was going and watching when Eckler would stream Thursday Night Football, because it was super fascinating to get his insight as the plays are playing out, how he's thinking about it as a professional running back. So really good tidbit there, Carlos. Maybe we should hop in there and see if he wants to come play with us.
Maybe we should.
That would be awesome. That would be pretty cool.
Play some football with us, right?
Play some football, yeah.
He'll play fantasy football.
Yeah, he did this past season, didn't he?
Yeah.
With I think Scott Fish was in that league. I don't know if I ever saw who won that.
Not quite sure.
I saw Carlos come in here and say Chase Claypool really tall, really fast, just kind of like Christian Watson as well. That's something that kind of does some of Chase Claypool. I will say Christian Watson's an inch taller, and I'm pretty sure ran a faster 40-yard dash than Chase Claypool. But I mean, we're nitpicking here. I'm hoping Watson winds up in the premium location that I'm looking for.
Yeah. And Scott saying Jamar Chase could be the number 1 wide receiver this year in all formats.
Yep. You won't find an argument for me on that.
Yeah.
I will argue a little bit. I don't think he's going to be.
I don't think he's going to be either.
He's not my number 1, but could be. That's in his range of outcomes.
He will. I think it's going to be tough for him. I think the Bengals are going to want to run a lot. They're going to use T. Higgins plenty. Joe Mixon's going to get receptions. Jamar Chase absolutely could be because he's got that amazing take the roof off the top, explosion, explosiveness, right? But, I'd bet on a lot of other guys before him.
Yeah.
Also, we had an update from Scott. Did we see it?
Yeah.
He said, which league was I in? Then he said, AJ Dillon won it. And he said, wow. Dillon won because stupid me dropped Amon-Ra right before he started blowing up. Had him all year. And then Dillon got him and won.
A little sneaky boy.
Oh, AJ Dillon knows what's up.
AJ Dillon, he's paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, don't the Packers and the Lions play
twice a year?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's got his eyes on it.
It's true.
That's awesome. Chase Edmonds was a name I thought about taking right there instead of Alexander Madison. But I went with the youth, especially after my previous pick being someone there's more uncertainty about with Melvin Gordon, not knowing where he'll sign, but just decided to go Madison there. But Edmonds is an interesting pick as well. Probably worth an 11th rounder.
Yeah, I'm worried that it's going to be a committee there. I think
for sure.
I'm just worried. I don't know exactly what his outlook's going to be, but in the 11th round, I have 3 good running backs just in case one of them goes down. Just pair them up with that Edmonds pick right there for PPR purposes.
Yeah, I mean, all of these backs down here, you're getting some baggage, right? For lack of a better term, it's why they're in the 11th round. You're not just going to get like a clear-cut starter sitting here in the 11th round, but Edmonds has shown himself as a starter in previous years. He's got some upside, but yeah, I'm with you. Most likely scenario is a committee for him.
Yeah.
We got a question from here now. It's which teams do you like the best? Are there any teams that stand out to any of you?
Team from the third spot is really
Jay. Good. Yeah, Jay in the chat said he liked Chevin's the best.
Yeah. Chevin is your team your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at anybody else's honestly, but yeah, it looks great. I feel like Swamp always picks a good team. I was watching some of the mocks that you guys done a while back, and I feel like Swamp always kills it.
Oh, he went to Jamar Chase T. Higgins combo.
Yeah,
he's an absolute artist with constructing these. He puts them together nicely.
Yeah, Swamp's gotten so good at drafting. When he first, I feel like when he was first tuning in, he was less confident. Now he's just like sniping everybody left and right.
I really like Jordan's team picking from the 1 spot. I think Josh Allen then paired with Jalen Waddle and Stephon Diggs. That is a sexy first 3 rounds. And then the audacity of us to let him have Saquon Barkley and Alvin Kamara as his running backs and Aaron Jones in the 7th. Like that team is disgusting. Look at those first 7 rounds. Josh Allen, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, DeAndre Hopkins, Aaron Jones. Like
he straight up took advantage of just like our recency and age bias. I feel like
without a doubt. I'm looking at that team and I'm like, this is the one. This is my favorite. Maybe
they're gonna do very well this year for sure.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good looking team, Jordan.
Swamp's like probably my least favorite team.
No, it's
this is nothing for me.
I mean, the thing I'd be most worried about is your quarterback position, but I'm not that worried. Tua and Jameis.
Yeah, quarterback for sure.
But I do like that team Swamp.
This is a nice team.
I don't know if I love the combination of Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, and T. Higgins. I mean, I don't hate it. I just wish there was like more wide receiver depth in there, I guess.
Yeah. I think he said he didn't realize he was taking 2 Bengals wide receivers. Said that a little earlier.
I did that last mock draft. I did it by accident, kind of too, but I was fine with it.
I'm not worried about it. No. I'm totally fine with drafting 2 Bengals wide receivers if those are the 2.
I let that be the deal breaker or tiebreaker, I should say, on a trade I had in my rookie draft this past season. And I had the 101. And I was like, all right, should I go Jamar Chase? I'm sorry, should I go Najee Harris or should I trade? Should I trade back or should I get Najee Harris or Jamar Chase? I already have T. Higgins. And I instead traded back and got, I think, Etienne and Pitts and gave up Chase. And I think I was a little bit concerned with T. Higgins and it hasn't panned out. So
no, but it could have been a worse return than Etienne and Pitts.
I'm not ready. That could have been a
horror story. Like that could have been one of the ones you tell forever. And that's not, I mean, I picked the Jamar Chase side, but it's not egregious. It's not like, I don't know, Alvin Kamara as a rookie for CJ Anderson and Doug Martin.
And Julio, you got Julio Jones too.
But don't worry, I then proceeded to trade Julio Jones. And so I made just a complete series of awful trades that year. That was my first year playing Dynasty. And I just really really phoned it in. I put myself at a crippling disadvantage from the start with those trades.
I think you did great that year.
What else did I do? I traded away Tyreek Hill, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara. I'm trying to think of all the players I traded away and got like nothing in return.
First year is always the toughest, honestly. You're still trying to learn all the values. I mean, sometimes I still don't even know the values of players. It seems like it's just so dependent on your leagues. And the first year, you're trying to value rookie picks too. I mean, that's a whole nother level of fantasy football. So
yeah,
it's tough.
It takes a little time. Joel asking Willis or Hall. Malik Willis or Breece Hall for the 101 and Superflex League. Josh, which one are you taking first?
It's going to depend on draft capital and where they land. But right now, I would draft Malik Willis personally above Breece Hall. I'm a little bit more concerned with that draft capital and where he lands exactly. So
you agree with him, Shevin? Nod your head.
I'm going with Breece Hall. I have him going first in probably every format right now. And Willis, that could change with where he lands, but I'm going with Hall most drafts.
What about you, Simon?
At this point, I don't think there's a wrong answer. So.
Yeah, I go back and forth. Honestly, these guys are close enough, and neither one of them stands out to me as like the Saquon Barkley or the like the locked and loaded 101 has to be the person there. So it might become like, is my team desperate for a quarterback? Was Big Ben one of my staples and he retired and this is the cheapest place to get a quarterback? I'm probably going Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Most other scenarios, if that's not the case, I'm likely going Breece Hall.
Yeah, that's fair. Carlos, Hawaiian barbecue or Mexican food and Dynasty PPR?
Mexican food.
This is not shitting on Hawaiian barbecue. Hawaiian barbecue is delicious.
Mexican is my 101.
It's the only cuisine in the world that can make spam like a treat, like something that you look forward to. But it's Mexican food, not 100%. Even close. Yeah. Oh man, I love Mexican.
Good draft,
food.
Guys.
Good draft.
This was a good draft. This was fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
Shevin, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and draft with us and share a little bit of your dynasty knowledge with us. Guys, for those of you who do not follow Shevin, you can find him on Twitter at ShevBoyRD. It is right there below his face on the screen, so make sure you go follow him over there. Shev, again, thank you so much. This was a real treat having you on the show with us today.
I appreciate it. Next time, get on the game show. I appreciate it. Yeah. It was so much fun. Definitely look forward to the next one.
This was the warm up to get the competitive juices flowing. And next time you're going down.
Yeah, that's when we wreck you.
You don't stand a chance, man.
Mr. Scamp Dynasty. Mexican then.
Definitely Mexican.
Honestly, Mexican goes up my redraft rankings because like there's long-term consequences.
You don't want to think about long-term.
Yeah, exactly. like 4 hours later, I am upset after Mexican food. And Carlos said, "Oh my, I just realized Shev's handle brilliant." Jail had the same moment right at the beginning here. Guys, that is going to be it for us today. Thank you everyone who tuned in and everyone that drafted along with us. Be on the lookout for the mock draft review that's going to be posted to our YouTube this Thursday. Until tomorrow, though, when we're back at 3 p.m. Eastern time for more fantasy football game show fun, we are out of here. Adios, everybody.
Merch store drops today, probably.
Get your Simon
fun.
Just saying.
Adios,
Let's go.
Bye-bye.